morning, I'm Jessica Lovell. Today, we bring you an encore presentation of one of our very favorite programs. This one focuses on kidney donation. There are currently more than 100,000 people waiting for a kidney in the United States. Right now, our team is working hard behind the scenes to bring you more amazing stories when our live programming returns in September. However, if there's an urgent update from the health system, we'll be here to let you know first. Until then, please enjoy this encore presentation and make it a great day.
I don't know exactly how God spoke to Brent, but when he put that on Brent's heart, there was just like no turning from that.
Coming up today, a kidney donation decades in the making. After living his whole life with an incurable disease, this man found an organ donor already in his life. Good morning, I'm Jessica Lovell, and welcome to the Morning Medical Update. Today, we are focused on an organ donation that was needed due to the most common form of genetic kidney disease. It's called PKD, polycystic kidney disease. It can cause thousands of cysts to grow and then damage the kidney from the inside out. PKD is caused by a genetic mutation. People are born with it, but most won't notice the symptoms until they're an adult. And while there are ways to slow the progression of the disease, there is currently no cure. Well, with the help of a nephrologist, Jeff Laudermilk managed his polycystic kidney disease for years. But once he entered kidney failure, doctors knew transplant was the only option.
I told Brent that it was hard for me to accept this. That someone would go through something like that for me.
They say blood is thicker than water.
Yeah, we never really wavered on the decision.
And that saying has never meant more for Brent Schneider.
We just felt like Christ put it on our heart.
And Jeff Laudermilk. Two men steeped in their faith. Growing up, Jeff always knew he had kidney issues.
This would have been 50 years ago when our family kind of learned about polycystic kidney disease and what that could mean for some of us. You know, especially when you're a teenager, things aren't quite as real maybe as far as what the eventual outcomes could look like.
Polycystic kidney disease is a hereditary disease where cysts grow inside the kidneys.
Later on, cousins and my brother all had dealings with the disease. My brother Terry is older than me, and he had a transplant here 14 years ago. Man, it feels pretty good getting up again.
So as the years went on, for Jeff, who's been with his partner Jamie for 20 years, it came as no real surprise when doctors eventually told him he would need a kidney transplant.
As the journey went on, it got a little more clear what was coming.
While many looked to relatives first, a sibling, a daughter, a son as a possible donor, Jeff found someone who's always been like a son, Jamie's son, Brent.
Gosh, I've known him since he was this big, and he's always been a special character.
I just think when I got the information that Jeff was getting bad and we're on that step, that I was willing to do it. And I was just kind of like, I care for Jeff, and honestly, if the shoe was on the foot, Jeff would do the same thing for me.
Brent is a teacher and high school football coach. Jeff says it's just like Brent to do something like this.
I don't want to embarrass him because I know he's humble about it, but he will hopefully always know how grateful I am.
Brent never thought twice.
Oh, I just know we've been blessed with our family. So, I'm just super lucky, super blessed.
A blended family where they share pretty much everything.
And we are joined by our guests today. Both Jeff and his donor Brent join us via webcam from Sterling, Kansas. Brent's wife, Mariah, also joins us. And we're so glad to have all three of you with us today. How's everybody feeling? Jeff, I'll start with you. You feeling good?
Yeah, feeling good. Labs keep coming in with good numbers, just making adjustments, but amazing difference. I can tell there's a lot more energy, and I'm looking forward to getting back to the full swing.
All right, we'll talk more about how everyone's feeling, and Brent, you as well. Also joining us today is Dr. Sean Coomer, transplant surgeon and chief medical officer at the University of Kansas Health System. Dr. Coomer, always glad to have you here with us. And here in studio with me is Dr. Malika Gupta, a transplant nephrologist here at the health system. Glad to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. And so, Jeff, since KPD, who else, we know that this is genetic, as we had mentioned, who else in your family lives with this disease?
So started with a cousin, my father's brother's oldest son, and that was back in the 80s when we first learned what PKD was and that we all might need to be tested. So since then, other cousins, I mentioned my brother having a transplant 14 years ago. So just been kind of a through the generations sort of knowledge that our family has worked with and know that we need to manage our health a little differently based on the fact that we have that PKD thing going on.
So did you always feel like a transplant was just looming? Was that something that always sat in the back of your mind?
Probably not until maybe the last 15 years or so, maybe 20 years, that just, you hear things about medical research and think maybe some other solution might be a possibility, or that your form of the disease may not be as severe. So there's all those different things in your mind that you don't know exactly how things are going to roll.
How is PKD affecting your day-to-day life?
I noticed that, interestingly, most in the gym. I'm kind of a guy that tried to keep my heart healthy. Our father passed early from a heart attack. So I always thought I needed to be in the gym and staying active because my job is pretty sedentary in an office. So I'd say making sure that I got to the gym was important to me. The thing I noticed is the last couple of years, I just couldn't do the workout like I was doing before, which was not any kind of major league workout. It was just kind of a regular treadmill and elliptical kind of thing. But the duration and the intensity, I just couldn't do as well. So that was one big factor. The other was I noticed kind of a lack of energy for just daily tasks, and maybe even a little bit of brain fog kind of issue to deal with. You never know if those are all PKD related or other things going on. So you always have this question, gosh, is that a thing that's going to get better if we find a solution, or how will that play out?
Dr. Gupta, can you explain exactly how PKD affects the kidneys? What's going on in there?
Yeah, so PKD is a genetic disorder, and there are a couple of kinds of PKD, but mainly both PKD affects the kidney by forming cysts in there, and when there are big cysts in the kidney, the tissue is not very healthy, or not much tissue is left behind in the kidney. Mostly it's just cysts, and the cysts don't work the normal way as the kidney tissue would work. So because it's being replaced by so many cysts, which are essentially balloon-filled structure with fluid, so the tissue overall, working tissue goes down, and therefore the normal function that the kidney does are not able to be done in the body.
Can it affect other parts of the body?
Yes, it can. It can affect other organs, so spleen, liver, some other small organs can be affected as well by forming cyst, and then it can affect other organs like heart and brain in some terms as well.
So is there a way to catch it early, slow the progression?
Yeah, for people who know that they may have the gene in their family, it's important to get screened early. Usually there are issues like symptoms like high blood pressure can develop, and things like that. That's the early sign. So if they know that they have it in the family, it's important that they go start seeing a nephrologist and get tested for it, and because there are medications now that can help delay the progression of disease, so decrease the cyst size.
Dr. Coomer, you have removed the kidneys with PKD before. How big do they get when they have these cysts? What's that like?
Yeah, these can get tremendously large. These kidneys can be the size of footballs or rugby balls, and weigh up to 30 pounds sometimes. So they're quite large. It's a fun operation, I'll tell you that, but it's pretty amazing.
Well, Dr. Coomer, we saw some of these kidneys in jars while our cameras toured the PKD Center. The Health Systems Clinic was named a Center of Excellence by the PKD Foundation. So, Dr. Coomer, how does that PKD Center help patients?
Well, it's pretty amazing. You know, first of all, I think it gives us the recognition, and it also gives us some notoriety, so patients who are suffering with polycystic disease can come see us. But it also gives us access to research and novel immunosuppression medication. So it's pretty amazing recognition, and we're happy to have it.
Jeff, when did you learn that it was time to start pursuing a transplant and, of course, looking for a donor?
Yeah, I was actually seeing a new cardiologist, and he looked at numbers and said, I think I want you to see a nephrologist that would start the transplant protocol process. And so it was at that point that things got pretty real pretty fast, and I followed his direction. We got on that pretty quickly, and then worked with that new nephrologist for probably 6 months or more before we started dialysis in September last year. So that was kind of a different adventure for sure. I'd hoped to avoid that, but in the big picture, it did help me have a better quality of life then for several months before we came to transplant time.
So let's bring in your donor, Brent. Brent, you were watching Jeff go through dialysis. When did you start thinking that maybe you could step in and see if you could be a donor?
I remember just over a year ago, we were actually at a Bible study with Kevin, Jeff's second son, and Jeff did a really good job of not showing how much it was hitting him. And so just kind of in our Bible study, Kevin kind of brought it up, and we left that Bible study, and Mariah and I talked for a little bit. And that night I went over to Jeff's and just told him we're definitely here for him, and I'm happy to go through the steps to see if we were donors. And I think it was about that January, so just over a year ago, that we started going through the steps to see if I was a match.
And Brent, for those who are just joining us, explain how you know Jeff.
Yeah, so Jeff's, Kevin, his middle son, we grew up together. So Jeff has been with my mom for a long time, but even going back before that, Kevin has basically been like a brother to me, and Wes is Jeff's firstborn, and he is also very close to my older brother. So we've kind of been really close to them, just growing up through our school years, playing sports together through high school, and we went to college together and played sports. And so we have that relationship. And then obviously Jeff and my mom have been together for a long time. So Jeff has been just a really big part of our life for a long time.
Mariah, what was it like when your husband came to you and said, I think I want to step forward and see if I could donate?
I mean, I think it was easy. We knew Jeff was going to have a long road ahead, and he's like a grandpa to our kids, and we just really love him so much, and I would want someone to do it for my dad. I think it was easy.
Brett, you mentioned it, but how much has your faith played a part in this?
Oh, our faith is just the foundation of everything in our life, and I think we definitely prayed about it, but we knew, I mean, it was put on our heart. So we just kind of knew, and we trusted in the Lord. And so once we made that decision, we were pretty steadfast in it, that we knew that was the direction we wanted to go. So we definitely want to honor Christ through everything. And we felt like this was definitely a great way to do that.
Jeff, did anyone else step forward to see if they could test? Anyone else that was close to you or in your family? What was that journey like to find someone?
Yeah, that was another pretty amazing thing. I'm not a person that usually asks for help, so when some people step forward like they did, it was kind of a humbling and just a real transformational thing for me. Yes, actually, Brent's brother Derek was also one that kind of went through the process. My children probably have the disease, so they are willing to do it, but probably not a reasonable match. A couple of other people also stepped up and asked if they could go through the process. So that's kind of like I say, a humbling, almost shocking kind of thing for people to bring that to you.
Well, be sure to ask your questions. You can use the chat on YouTube or Facebook, or you can email the Medical News Network. That information is there on your screen. I wanted to ask you both, what were your nerves like going into surgery? This is a big day for both of you, but Brent, what was it like being rolled back there?
Yeah, it was, it really didn't hit me until probably the night before we were able to go to Reese, our oldest son's basketball game in Inman, Kansas, and then we left from there. And so that's kind of when it was really reality. And I honestly slept a little bit better than I thought I would that night. I think God really just kind of rested my nerves. And then we get to the hospital, and I want to give all the credit to the KU Med people. They were fantastic throughout everything. I felt really taken care of throughout the entire process. And really, I don't want to say it was necessarily easy, but they make it as easy as possible. And I felt like I was in really good hands. I felt like they took care of Mariah. She was with me pretty much every step of the way. And so I just felt comforted. But yeah, you definitely have some anxious moments. It's a pretty big deal. So, yeah.
Mariah, what about you? How were your nerves?
I think I was pretty nervous. I think it was a long wait in the just before surgery, and you just kind of wanted to get it going so it can be done faster.
Well, I remember meeting with you really by your bedside, and I appreciate you letting us come in there and speak with you, Brent. But you were recovering those few days afterwards. And what was recovery like for you after surgery?
Yeah, it was difficult at times, but I just really do think that we had such great care. I would definitely say I would highly, if somebody came and asked me about my situation, everything, I would definitely say go for it. It's well worth it. You are giving a gift to somebody else that is much needed. But when people ask me that, I think the answer is it honestly was probably minus a couple stretches, not quite as unbearable as I thought maybe it was. But I think a lot of that is just we had great help. And even coming home, Sterling's a great community. We had a lot of people take care of us, so it's slow going. I will say that's probably the hardest part for me, is just you have to be very smart about it. But yeah, it's definitely a process. It's a long process.
Well, Dr. Coomer, I have to bring you in here because Brent says he said it was not quite unbearable, and we've heard time and time again where the donor ends up feeling those side effects a lot more than the recipient. Why is that?
Yeah, it honestly, this is, when I think about this is one of the greatest honors of my life, is that someone that doesn't need an operation trusts me to take an organ out. It is a big decision, and it's not taken lightly. But I always am very honest with Brent. Probably remember I said this is going to hurt, and Mariah was there to witness that. It hurts a lot, and the first couple of days were rough. And mostly when we talk about putting a kidney in, we almost think about it as a hernia surgery with a couple of vascular anastomoses. So that doesn't, it's not painful. But when we go in and take out an organ, we're moving a lot of the intestines around. We're going in the abdomen and taking an organ out. So there's a lot of pain receptors involved with that. So it definitely is pretty rough.
Well, Dr. Gupta, PKD currently has no cure, but are you hopeful about one day down the road of seeing a cure for this disease?
Yeah, so there is a medication to slow the progression. I think there have been trials about that, very successful trials. It's called tolvaptan. I think a lot of people are on it. As far as the cure goes, I think industry and academia both are working on gene therapy and stuff like that. So I'm hopeful we'll see it in the future. But currently we have therapies to slow it down.
So you slow the progression, but if transplant isn't an option for someone, do they just stay on dialysis?
I would say yes, but transplant is an option for most of the people. So transplant is the definitive therapy for kidney disease. So, yeah.
Dr. Kumar, I want to ask you about something else. You recently joined a national committee for OPNT, the Organ Transplantation and Procurement Network. Explain what that is and why does that matter to patients?
Yeah, I was honored with about 12 other individuals to be named to this committee. This committee is repopulating the board for the organ distribution and allocation for the country. It's been felt that this has been a little bit biased by geography, and our goal is to create a fair and a consistent way of populating that board. So we're turning the entire board over this summer, and based on our recommendations. So it's quite an honor, and I'm looking forward to participating.
Well done on the honor, Dr. Kumar.
Thank you.
Jeff, we were asking Brent how he was feeling. I want to ask you how you're feeling right now. I mean, just today, sitting there in your home with this new kidney, are you able to get back to the gym and even just doing some light workouts, as you were saying?
Yeah, I've actually done a few workouts, and those feel pretty good. I noticed my stamina needs to be rebuilt for sure, and so we'll get to work on that. Feeling really good in a lot of different ways that you don't know. It happens so gradually, that decline in your health, that you kind of don't know how unwell you are. And so when you get some sort of a transformative event like a transplant, it's a pretty dramatic feeling to kind of get that energy back and be able to do some things you weren't doing before. I had a little bit of a hampering side thing going on. I had fallen on the ice before the surgery, and so my I guess you'd say sciatic nerve or something has been kind of keeping me from being as active, but maybe that was God's way of slowing me down and not letting me overdo until I was really ready. So I feel like we're almost all the way back now, so that I'm ready to do the more physical things that I've been avoiding for a while.
Well, I got to say, the last time I saw both of you, it was at your bedside. So again, thank you both for letting us come in and interview you there, but you both look great. And so just so glad to see you getting back to life. We have some questions from our viewers, and Jeremy says, I'm always surprised to find out that issues in one part of the body affect other parts too. Does PKD have an effect on the heart or brain?
Yes. So PKD, most common cause of dying in a person who has PKD is cardiac causes. So it definitely affects the heart in one way or the other. We don't know too much about whether it can make cyst in the heart or not. So, but it does affect the heart. And then brain as well. There can be aneurysms in the brain associated with similar gene deformity. So yes.
Dr. Kumar, Alex wants to know, do they leave the diseased kidney behind inside the body?
So most oftentimes we do leave the kidneys in unless there's a problem, meaning there's not enough space to place in the kidney, or there's infection or hemorrhaging of some of the cysts. So most of the time we prefer to leave it in there.
Dr. Kumar, I'm going to stick with you. I want to get our takeaways today. For those watching and listening this morning, what's the big takeaway you want folks to hear?
Well, we all have our heroes out there, but you have a hero right on this program. I mean, Brent is truly a hero as a donor. He saved another's life. It's just incredible. And I don't want to minimize Mariah either. Mariah is a hero as well. To watch her husband go through this is incredible. And I remember seeing her face before the case. And then when I came and talked to her after the case was done, I could see the sense of relief on her face as well. And I was glad that I could give her good news, of course. So I again, like I said, this is one of the biggest honors of my life, is to help shepherd a donor through this. And like I said, Brent and Mariah are the heroes of this story. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Dr. Gupta, what's the big takeaway today?
I think two things. Being a donor is a very noble thing to do. So thank you, Brent, for doing it for Jeff. And I encourage other people in the community to come forward as donor. A lot of kidney are needed in the community for patients who are on dialysis. So get tested for donation if you can. And the other takeaway is patients who have polycystic kidney disease, if you know about that gene disorder in the family, go start seeing a nephrologist that can help you in the long term.
Our heroes, Brent and Mariah, what's the big takeaway from your family's story?
I would recommend, just like the doctors are saying, I personally don't feel like a hero through it all, so I appreciate the kind words. It's kind of funny. I was actually thinking the same thing for Dr. Kumar, just the miracles he's able to work, and he's exactly right. He told me straight up it was going to be a tough process, so I appreciate the straightforwardness from everybody. But takeaway is I would highly recommend doing it. It's well worth it, and then I'd also say. We try to glorify Christ and get that message out there, because I think that's important in life.
Mariah, do you have some final words for us?
I guess I agree with everything Brent said. Dr. Kumar is amazing, and to put my husband in his hands, I mean, it was pretty easy. He was very straightforward, gave us all our information, and I trusted him. He's great. So,
well, thank you both for sharing your story. And Jeff, okay, we're so glad you're doing well. Wrap us up on this Friday. What's the big takeaway from your story?
Gosh, I guess, I've been given a great gift, and I think when God put that on Brent's heart to do that, and Mariah and he prayed, I started realizing that there must be some things I need to be doing in this new stretch of life that I've been given. So hopefully God puts on my heart what I am supposed to do to use this gift to his best glory. And I do remember a moment in the waiting room right before they rolled Brent and I back. And all of our family came together, put hands on his shoulders and my shoulders, and put it in the Lord's hands. And I appreciated that. It gave me peace and strength for the coming moments. And so I guess it's also an awesome thing to be able to have people around you that provide you that kind of strength.
Well, thank you all for letting us share your story this morning.
Subscribe to our morning medical update and Open Mics with Dr. Stites podcasts. Now everywhere podcasts are available.